Hello and welcome to the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. You are currently looking at the face of Grace. I'm Grace. You can find me as Vanawillemiel on Instagram and Ravelry. You can also find my small little yarn dyeing business at Babbles Yarns on Instagram. Most of everything I talk about you can find links to on my website, which is www.babblestravellingyarns.com. Now the landing page for that is currently my retreat. There is going to be an open day for my retreat, which is open to everybody available who is around the area or who wants to come down. And my retreat is the open day is taking place on the 21st of April 2018. And that is the Saturday, so it's from 11 o'clock onwards. The retreat's being held in Ballyglass House in the Glen of Aherlow in County Tipperary, in kind of the middle of Ireland, the middle south bit. Yeah, we're gonna have some really cool things going on, so if you're interested, pop over to my website. Everything is going to be down in the down bar as well if you're interested, so do follow on the links for there. So that was a bit rushed. What happened? Oh well, we're here now and that's where we're going to stay. Can't go back. I mean, I could go back, I could edit, but I don't want to. So there you have it. Well, now you've got the information on the retreat, the open day on the retreat. I really hope people come. I'm really excited because we've got Diarmuid from Estwiz coming and giving us a talk, and that is actually, apparently, I've heard from my friend Nadia from the Cottage Notebook podcast that it's really quite rare to hear him talk. So I'm really interested in hearing him talk and meeting everybody. I'm so excited. Yay! So where to start? So today is the 7th of April, so we're about 2 weeks away from that, from my retreat. Eek! And this is episode 64, I had to look. So this past week I did a really quick interview, well not really interview, it was it's a tag that was started by Ravelry where you ask questions of your significant other or person in your house that you're hanging around with a lot that doesn't knit. So your mother, your sister, your best friend, or your roommate, or your boyfriend, or your husband, or a grown child, or whatever. Or a young child, I suppose. That would be quite cute. But I did it with my current significant other who looks around and sees me buying yarns. So many yarns. So that was really funny. James was hilarious, as usual. And yeah, so if you want to have a look at my previous posts, and that was up just this week. How great is it that we've now got evening light? I came home from work at 5 o'clock, sat down at 6, filmed that whole thing. It still wasn't dark by 8 when I was editing it and uploading it. Amazing. Yeah, it was great just to have light for photography and filming. Oh, great. So yeah, that was really fun, super fun to do. I watched a Paige the Framer did one, and then my friend Maureen from Simply More Crafts did one as well with her husband, and they're just so funny. I did a quick and speedy one because I was afraid I'd run out of light, but I think that worked quite well. So if anyone is interested in doing it, it's quite fun. There's 45 questions, so it's quite a lot. But you know, if you hit them hard and fast, 1 or 2 are repeated, I think. But they're still so fun. So what am I going to talk about today? I've been knitting, I've been weaving, and I've got some small little presents that I want to show you and share with you. So let's start off with the only FO I have. It is a weaving project. It's been on the loom for a long time. I filmed the warping of this on my channel, just to show how to warp a rigid heddle loom, and this is the finished project. If you're interested in that, you should pop back and have a little look at my videos for that. It's just, I think it's how to warp a rigid heddle loom, something like that. Very simple, but it's on my previous videos. So this is my scarf. I had it measured and everything. I think it's like 156, 160 centimeters by, so anyway, this is my scarf, which is one ball. It's made up of one ball. Actually, I have the other one here. It was green and blue colours of this. One ball of this will get you this. That's pretty amazing. This, let me tell you what this is. This is Batik Swirl Double Knitting by Stylecraft. And I had a green, blue, yellow one. I had this colours. It's 200 grams. It costs about €7, something like that. This one is called Foxglove. I don't know what the other one is called. I think I've lost the tag on that one. But it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It is machine washable at 30 degrees, so that's handy. So yeah, it comes like this, super cute. So it may look like these repeats are quite, in the ball, it looked like these repeats were quite slow. No, they're really fast transitions, which is grand. So what I did was I warped it, and all of these stripes, so there was a large blue stripe, small kind of teal stripe, a lighter kind of a grey blue, and then this greeny business, and then a light blue again. So where was I? Oh gosh, I brought it out with me and then I didn't bring it back in. So yeah, the repeats change quite abruptly. So it's kind of like a self-striping, I suppose, but you have very, very long repeats. So that's like that. And then I would, excuse me, I would wind up the shuttle. I would wind up the shuttle from the ball and then start weaving. But then I would go back and start winding the shuttle again, and you'd almost go back. So you'd start off, so when you're winding on the shuttle, you're winding on from the last place you stopped. You wind onto the shuttle, wind on, wind on, wind on, wind on, wind on, and then when you're weaving, you weave with that last part. So what I ended up with was actually quite nice little kind of short stripes in between. So I'd say if you look at that, yeah, so that is what 2 repeats basically of the colour. That's how much colour you'd get from this colour and this colour. So this is like a light blue and then green. And then I stopped just there, and then this is the last part that came on. And I still have quite a lot of that colour on the, I still have quite a lot of the colour still on the shuttle that I used. So I haven't even used 200 grams, and I'm after getting a big scarf, which is oh cozy. So I can get a big wrap out of it. Oh, these colours are so pretty. Now, the issue I have with it is the fringe. It doesn't really hang nice. They kind of stick together a lot. There's not so much dangling going on, you know, they kind of stick so much. So I'm thinking of getting rid of the fringe, but I don't know if I'm going to necessarily use it as a as a scarf. I'm half thinking of turning it into a bag. So yeah, I'm thinking of turning it into a bag. So how many scarves does a girl need really? And it's not quite long enough to wrap it around twice. I mean, it's okay, it's all right, but this is nice. This is lovely. But I have hundreds of these now, you know, and I want to start doing different things, like I showed you before with when I made my kimono out of the weaving that I had. So yeah. So what I'm thinking of doing is, and this kind of just occurred to me last night, I'm thinking of maybe, I might keep these tasseled edges as the end of the bag, but probably not. I'm literally probably going to sew up this bit and sew up this bit. So I have a little bag, and this would be the handle, you know? So it would go like this, and I'd have a bag. And it's quite reminiscent of bags that I saw when I was in Burma. They would often do this sort of bag where they would weave a whole load, and then the edges, you'd effectively turn them over. I'll just show. Maybe you could see it if I was down on my lap, that easier. So you would turn them over like this. Never mind my messy floor. You know, this is my actual house, like. And oftentimes what they would have is they would have another piece of fabric down the center folded up and over. So you'd have this part of the bag would be your strap, and then this part would be open, like it would all be open in here. And then you'd have the bag. So I might do that actually. I might get a little bit of extra fabric that I have lying around and just have one little piece going up and down, like folded over, and then sew it on, and then sew the bag shut at the bottom, and there you go, bag. Like, or I could just, you know, sew these together flat, sew them together flat, turn it inside out. And the fringes I could probably, actually, yeah, I could sew them along the edge, cut them all off, you know, sew it a couple of times, cut them all off, turn it all inside out, and I'd have a bag then with kind of a long flappy handle. That's an idea actually, I might do that. I mean, for €7 for the ball of yarn, the ball of fabric, and actually I really wanted to do this because I love the colours. I love the colours. But it's not very warm. Like I was wearing it out the last couple of days and it's not super warm, and that's, I think maybe it's because it's acrylic. I don't know. Or maybe it's because it's a slightly open weave, or I don't know. But it's not too bad. I haven't, like you can kind of see it's a little open. I haven't done anything with this. If I was to do a bag, I would definitely interface the bag section and leave this part the way it is, so it would be smaller. You know, I would interface this bottom section with like a heavier fabric. Yeah, so that's my plan for this pretty thing. It is very pretty, isn't it? It's so mad colours. And this one here, I could try and refine the technique or whatever. I was also thinking if I couldn't think of something big to make, I could cut it up and make like small notions pouches or something. Might give it to my friend Terry. She's a really good sewist, so I don't know. Yeah, so, oh, it's just so pretty, the colours. Like when I was first doing my the class, the rigid heddle loom class, it was Myron Enochton that was taking the class, and she said that the colours were so that weaving saddens the colours. So weaving saddens colours, which is a really interesting way of putting it. And it's not a bad thing. It's just like the way they're slightly muted and pulled down from the original like bright pop, which is really important to know when you're picking your colours. So when you're doing something like a houndstooth or a gingham, do I have them? They're upstairs. Yeah. You really want super high contrast colours, and solids are good, really good for that. When you're doing, so I did a variegated yarn on a semi-solid tonal warp. Oh, actually, sorry, it was a variegated warp. So all the long threads were variegated yellowy, speckled, bluey, orangey colour. And then the weft threads going across was a semi-solid tonal by Circus Tonic Handmade. And, you know, you get this sort of very muted, pixelated look. And I put these little stripes of other types of colours just to brighten it up a little bit, just to break up the kind of, it kind of looks like static, you know, this kind of static colour, which I really actually love. And just the yarn is so soft. I mean, the difference between wool, I mean, they're wool nylon blends, so there is a little bit of plastic in there. So wool nylon and acrylic, the difference, there's 20% wool in here, but this is 75% or 80% wool. Just, this is like putting it up to my face, this is warmer. Even though it's much thinner. This is fingering weight and this is DK. I don't know. It's fingering weight doubled, and I doubled on the warp and then single on the weft. I love weaving. So yes, I'm glad I finished that. That kind of went off on a bit of a tangent. I don't really know where or what, but it was kind of, you know, interesting to have colour. Chats about colour is really interesting with weaving, because I'm still figuring out what I want to do, and trying to figure out how colour works in weaving is completely different to trying to figuring out how colour works in knitting or crochet or spinning. But it's always fascinating. I love finding out how to do it. I really quite like these though. This is quite striking, you know, changing your colours every so often, and this is quite lovely. So I think this would make a really cool bag. It's not quite long enough to be, I mean, it's long enough to do a scarf once around, but these little tassely things just annoy me, and I don't know how. I suppose I could individually weave them back up into the fabric, but ain't nobody got time for that. So I think I'm going to sew them together, sew a couple of times, turn it inside out, and just cut them all off. Solved. So let's get on to the knitting, shall we? This started off as a knitting podcast. Let's keep it going. The thing I've been popping most work onto, I would say this week, is in my little Plystra bag pouch, which is the pouch that comes inside the Plystra backpack. Plystre backpack. It's a Norwegian company, a Norwegian designer who designs these beautiful bags. So in here I have got my Ada by LB Hand Knits. Ooh, there we go. Now, so Ada is this beautiful design, very kind of layering piece with a low scoop neck, which I love, and short sleeves and a long rib on the body, which is quite nice. It's very simple, very delicate design. Like I said last week, she is going to be redesigning these patterns, so definitely put a favourite on it. But I mean, I'm having no problem with the pattern written as is, so I'm all good, really. So I've finally started joining in the round. Yes! God, it's going so much faster now. So in order to get that scoop neck business, I had to do a lot of back and forth and purling to kind of come down. I'll take this off so you can see. I'll talk about this in a minute, don't worry. So you have to kind of put this, and the So Faded, this is the So Faded, by the way, by Andrea Mowry, using Hedgehog Fibres and Nora George yarns in her colorway in a club that she did. Beautiful. Anyway, so it was quite similar to this, in that I did a lot of kind of just back and forth, growing, increasing on the raglans, and then I joined it together. But this is still a little bit high. I mean, not super high, but I just think it just makes a lot of blank canvas here for me, and it just makes this part seem quite big. Like, some people like that, but for me, I quite like this a little bit lower, just to breathe. I don't know, it's all in my head, but I'm really excited about this pattern. It's the first thing I saw. I bought it at the Knitting and Stitching Show in Dublin last year. Ava was there on the booth, on the Apple Oak Fiberworks booth, and that was really, really cool to see her and meet her. So I am making this out of two sock blanks by Ninja Chickens, who's Maria, I met in Edinburgh, and one sock blank from Mon Sheep Shop, which is this is the sock blank from Mon Sheep Shop. Beautiful, so lovely. So this is going to fade in and be the ribs and the cuff. We'll see if I have enough. Yeah. Anyway, so let me show you the beautiful sock blanks. Everyone's gonna get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. It's mine. I bought it. I can do whatever I want with it, okay? Everyone's like, how can you pull it apart? It's so beautiful. I'm like, I bought it. I can do what I want. I do what I want. But they're absolutely stunning. This is a black walnut coming down here, and a few maple leaves, different types of leaves on there. Beautiful. All botanically dyed in the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina. Am I right? I think I'm right. This one is super pretty as well. So they're very complementary, but the colors are slightly different. So I am knitting 2 at a time. So I'm pulling from this end, just like this. So for anyone who doesn't know what a sock blank is, this is a machine knitted piece of knitting, a blank, if you will, with sock wool. And Maria does some amazing, intense botanical dyeing. She lays the leaves on, and you can see her reveals on her Instagram, on her stories. They're just beautiful to watch when she pulls them apart. Oh, they're so pretty. So yes, they're beautiful. And then you get them home and you can either just look at them, which I think is fine, but for me, like, I'm not going to do anything with it's a piece of fabric that's not even long enough to be a scarf, you know. I mean, it's about that long. It's 100 grams. It's about that long, that wide. You could wrap it around once. You could make a cowl. Maria has developed a pattern where you pick up stitches on the edge and knit a border and make a cowl. That's really pretty. Not my, well, maybe I might do one another time. But for these ones, I bought them for a specific purpose, which was to make a garment. I wanted to really get the essence and the colours, the essence of the colours of these leaves into a wearable garment that I'll wear all the time, as opposed to just when it's cold, you know, and I need something to cover my face. Whereas I wanted something like this So Faded, which was a little bit lower and just which was really, really wearable and layerable, and just seeing the transformation from these beautiful little leaves into the colours that are coming up on this. Okay, I haven't shown it to you yet, have I? So pretty. Well, it's still scrunch up on the needles because I have joined in the round. Here it is. But look at these colours that are coming out. It's so pretty. So when I was going back and forth, I was knitting every second row, like 2 rows, 1 blank, 2 rows, the other blank. Now that I am moving into, look at the red, look at the way the red is moving down. Ah, love it. So now that I have joined in the front, it feels like I've done nothing, honestly, but I think once I'll separate from the sleeves. So now I'm just doing every second row, and, 1 row blank, 1 row, 1 blank, 1 row, the other blank. And I'm using the technique which I learned when I was in Edinburgh, and it's on one of the end of my Edinburgh vlogs when I'm in the knit night, the jogless join, which is mind-blowing. Go back and have a look at it if you want to. I think it's so I just had a look there. It is my Thursday part 3, and it's literally in the last 4 minutes or last 3 minutes of that vlog if you want to go back and have a look at what I'm doing. It just creates a join if you're alternating skeins, or if you're alternating skeins, or you're doing single stripes. You do this join and you will get a seamless join. You won't get any floats coming up the edge. The join will actually travel around your knitting so that you've no ladders, oh my god, it's magical. So I'm using it on 2 skeins here. I'm actually at the point where I could show you. So I might just do that actually. Why not? So I'll just show you here and see if I can, I don't know if I can zoom in or not, but I might be able to zoom in and editing. So I've got 2 blanks here. I'm just going to separate them out using continental on this side and English style flicking on this side, just so you can see. So there's 2 blanks. One is on the row below, and one is on this row that's been done already, and one is on the round coming around. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to slip these purlwise. You can purl it knitwise either, or it doesn't really matter. So I'm coming to this part, so I've actually just got this one down. So I drop this one. So I've knit all the way across here. I drop this one, pick up this one, because I've just slipped those 3 stitches, and I just go. And that's it. So when you come to the next time when you come all the way around to this one, you will be here, you know, you'll stop 3 stitches before. You will drop that one, slip those 3 stitches, pick up that one and go again. It's magic. I still don't understand how I'm doing it, but I have been doing it since here, I think. And so yeah, I've been doing it this many. So all across here, every 3 stitches I'm kind of slipping them, so you can't really see any sort of carried stitches. I think there's a bit of slipping going on, and that's the only thing, but you can't even really see that, not on the front, and especially not on this pre-knitted yarn because it's already a little bit bobbly and sock blanky. But like on the front you can't see anything, and this is the front of the garment, so I did want this to be as seamless as possible. It's magic. Honestly, alternating skeins it's made it so much easier, especially when you're working with variegated or hand-dyed yarns, just to be able to alternate your skeins in an easier, anything to make it easier. Big thing, right? Yeah, and also I now really want to knit striped everything because I now know how to do stripes like there's no join in the stripes. I'm so excited. So yeah, that's what I have been doing, and I'm loving it. I just need to get down to, I need to knit to a certain depth off the back neck, and then I'll split for the sleeves. That's how it's written in the pattern. So I need to, I think I'm a few centimeters off. I've got my little notions pouch from my friend Terry, who is my Cottage number 9 on Etsy. And this is from my big sweater bag. But I think she's going to be bringing some more of these little notions pouches to the retreat in 2 weeks. So I might get like a spring one or a summer one, summer notions pouch. But I don't know if I have, I think I'll just keep that one. But they're so cute, I might not be able to resist. So I'm just going to measure here from the back, just to see how far, and I could stretch it, but I don't really want to, but I think I'm there actually. I think I'm definitely there. Well, if I stretch it, I definitely am. Hang on. I need to do it on a flat surface. This is no good. So if I do that, I'm only there. I'm about an inch off. Oh, need to have a little look at the sleeves. I might just take it off this needle and try it on. That might be the best thing to do. So yes. So I need to kind of measure from the tip of my shoulder down to, this is kind of the tip of my, hang on, just let that drop. So that there's a little knobbly part on your shoulder, which is called your glenoid. Well, it's not your glenoid, it's your chromium process, if anyone wants to know. And then where it'll split is probably about there. Actually, you can see it on a jumper, on a hand knit jumper if you already have one. So what's that? Handspan. Very good. I should get someone else. I'm not going to go off these measurements. Don't crucify me in the comments. 16 centimeters, give or take. I'm on 13, so I might need to go a little bit more. So yeah, we'll see. It seems to go so slowly this bit because you're increasing, so the rows are getting longer and longer and longer. But once I separate the sleeves, I think it'll go much faster because you're casting off, well, I normally cast off about 90 stitches for the sleeves on fingering weight yarns for me, so this like is normally around 90 is a number I remember being quite consistent. So I'll have a little look. I'll check my gauge and I'll measure myself properly, and then I'll know how much to do. But yes, so that's the plan. That's what I need to do for that. And now I'm just rolling this up, so I'm trying to just have some time to do it. Oh, actually, I'll talk about my new little presents that I got at the end of the podcast from my wonderful friend Carmen. I love her so much. So I'll just pop all this away. So I am loving this pattern. It is super easy, super super. Why is that word suddenly in my vocabulary so much? It's not sudden, is it? We've all heard it from my mouth a lot. Pattern. So it's Ada. The pattern is Ada by LB Hand Knits. Yes, 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 yes. Now, number 1 knitting project, complete with interruptions and all. Now, should we move on to the elephant in my life, the Nahani River vest? I had a lot of people comment on the last video about ripping it out because it's not going to fit and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, nah, I don't have the brain space for that right now. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, keep going, keep James happy. So, yeah, I've knit a few more rounds on it, but it does not seem like it because it seems like it's a black hole of nothingness. But, you know, the pattern is coming. It's cute. Do you know if it's too big, I'll just turn it into a pillow. You can get over it. You can have it there as a constant memory. Yeah, I think he just secretly loves complaining that I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet. I'm not a freaking wizard. Anyway. Hey, speaking of wizards, got a little Harry Potter thing on there. Oh, it's so cute. I'm using all of my favorite stitch markers on here. I'm using my lovely TARDIS from Linda, from my friend Linda down in Australia. I am using, oh, there's a lovely, beautiful goddess here from Corolla, who is the psychic knitter or otherworldly yarns. Some that I've made myself. There's a seahorse. I think Carmen, you might have got me that one. I can't remember. Somebody got me that one. Super nice. I'm knitting it on high sharps. I'm on 4mm needles at the moment. Shetland spindrift, 1 billion balls of yarn. One thing that I have started to use is this highlighter tape. Oh, sorry. So I've got this huge, massive chart. Whee! Okay, you saw it right. I'm not giving away anything. Whee! Anyway, so this highlighter tape is brilliant. I bought this, I think, in Brooklyn General, in that yarn shop there in New York, in Brooklyn. And it's brilliant. It's so good for charts and things because you just move it up and it's super obvious, and I reuse it so many times. So I think I've used this for 6 projects and I've still got so much tape, so that's really, really good. Use that quite a lot. So that's there doing that. I'm there doing that. If I get sick of it, I'll rob it, but I'll get rid of it, but not just yet. So the next one that I am knitting on, and I literally just picked these up yesterday. It's in my Knitting Goddess bag with my little enamel pin, which is still available in the shop. And it says, you don't have time to knit? I don't have time to listen to nonsense. And you know what? In work, since I got this bag, no one has said that. I'm sure I heard them say that 50 times per day before I got this bag. That's why I got this bag, so I could just be like, you know? Anyway, rude. So I am knitting just some plain old socks. I'm coming down off the gusset decreases from the mini heel flap gusset adjustment from Mina Phillip. Oh my god, just put a pin in that, Grace, and remember to talk about her new sweater design with the lace and the cables, and the holy god, it's so beautiful. Anyway, oh, so beautiful. Now yeah, so these are my March socks. It is now the end of March. Oh, I pulled a winner for that, actually. I pulled a winner for the Paddy's Day Cal, and congratulations to the winner that won. I have your details and I am going to be posting out your parcel this week coming. So I did a little garter heel from Mina's, one of Mina's newest patterns, and I really love the way it came up. It's so squishy, but it looks tiny, doesn't it? Super tiny. Tiny heel. I did do the mini heel flap adjustment because I did 30 stitches. I think I did a boo-boo. I did a boo-boo here. I don't know what I did, but it boo-booed anyway. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, so I am decreasing down off of that little mini gusset now. And yeah, so this is going to be ready for cinnamon knitting, and then hopefully I won't have to go. Because it really annoys James. Who knew? Like, good, the people behind us are watching. I was like, who cares? For further information about that, go watch the Fibre Friends tag video that I did. We all found out things about each other in that video. Drama llamas! Not really. So yeah, I'm nearly down off the gussets, and we really want to go and see Ready Player One. That film, I listened to the audiobook of Ready Player One when I was in Australia. And I was talking with Nadia about this, Nadia from the Cottage Notebook podcast, about different audio podcasts, how sometimes specific audio podcasts, they're people's voices or memories of that podcast or the podcaster, just brings back so clearly where you were. And there's something about audio podcasts that do that more than video podcasts, I think. Because video podcasts, you're using your eyes, you're focusing a little bit more on what they're talking about. Whereas with audio podcasts, you could be out and about doing something else. Only your ears and your brain is kind of concentrating on the audio podcast. So I used to listen to Truly Myrtle, A Playful Day, and who was I talking about 10 seconds ago? I remember now, we were talking about Ready Player One. I had to pause it and go back and find out what I was talking about. So yeah, so I used to listen to a lot of the podcasters, and I used to listen to audiobooks. And this particular book was with me when I was traveling back and forth a lot on the bus in Sydney. And anytime I think of the Ready Player One book, I can almost feel the heat of the Sydney spring coming, you know, and just the atmosphere, the sunshine, the light, you know, for some reason. I mean, it's a really dark dystopian book, and most of it takes place like, you know, in a computer, and it's kind of dystopian world and everything's terrible. But there's this crazy juxtaposition in my brain because it links it with traveling around in Sydney in the warm weather, beautiful sunshine, all these beautiful stunners, you know, wandering on and off the bus, and just beautiful, elegant, blah, blah, blah. And it's so funny. But yeah, I was talking about, I started listening to A Playful Day, the podcast that is run by an English woman who is going to be at Woolen, actually. I'm really excited about that. I think she's teaching a photography, like a product photography course or something. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited because I'm going to be sending some of my stuff up to be photographed by her. And like everything seems to be like joining together with people who start talking to me, who know me from this place and that place, and oh, it's just so lovely when something like that happens. So yeah, anyway, that tangent. But I'd like to hear your favorite audio podcasts. I was half thinking about doing an audio podcast with this video podcast, just because there's something about an audio podcast which I don't know. I know you have to explain things a little bit more, and you can't really show people things. You have to be really good at explaining yourself. But sometimes it's really nice to just talk about things. I had the absolute ultimate pleasure of talking with Mrs. B of the Mrs. B's Curiosity Cabinet. Or sorry, Mrs. M's Curiosity Cabinet. Let me say that again. I had the ultimate pleasure of meeting up with Mrs. M of the Mrs. M's Curiosity Cabinet there at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and her voice and her stories, and I think I've listened to her podcast from start to finish, all of her episodes, at least 3 times now. She just makes sense, and her podcast is so thoughtful. Her making is very thoughtful, and sometimes I feel like I'm not so thoughtful about what I make and what I do. I just make it because I love it, but I really like the idea of being thoughtful. So she is one of my really, really favorite audio podcasts, as well as the wonderful Truly Myrtle, who has started doing video and audio. And this is what got me thinking about it, you know. And then, of course, there's the Cottage Notebook podcast, run by Nadia, my friend here in Ireland. Really wonderful person. She's helped me so much with the guild and just general questions about everything, really, especially the situation of kind of yarn and the business of yarn in Ireland. So thank you so much, Nadia. You're the best. Yeah, so I'd love some recommendations of audio podcasts. I have a very, like, I have listened to a lot of fibre podcasts, and I now know that I've got a kind of a style that I really like. So yeah, but I really do appreciate any recommendations that you might have, because I love them. Yeah, so, oh yeah, they were my socks. And I'm going to be able to, oh yeah, that's where tangent, right. So I want to be able to knit them in the cinema. I might try and go tonight. We might try and go tonight because it's out in the cinema at the moment. So I just need to get rid of, how many more stitches? Maybe 3 more stitches. So that's 6 more rounds. I can do that today. And then I'll have that for tonight, just to annoy James. And then I might get a load done actually on the foot, which would be great, because sometimes it gets to this stage, it gets to like just over the heel, whether you're going toe up or cuff down, and it just takes forever. Does anyone else find that? You reach like the halfway point of socks. I know I'm doing them 2 at a time, so effectively I've already knit 1 sock, so I'm like, yay ho, technically. But it's a little birdie. So anyway. Yeah. So what else have I got to talk to you about? Goodness. Oh, I've got, yes. So someone very special, near and dear to me, and this little podcast has done something incredible. So let me tell you a story. When I was in Sydney, I didn't have any address or anything for a long time until I settled in Sydney for at least 6 months, because I signed a contract to work for 6 months. So someone contacted me on Ravelry asking, you know, when you have an address, I'd love to send you a parcel. I think she said, yeah, it was you, wasn't it, Carmen? She said, oh, I heard you were having a problem with metal needles and traveling. So I have some wooden needles if you like, and I'll send them over to you. I was like, yeah, oh my God, that'd be so great. I think it was you, Carmen. I think it was. Yes. And I was expecting like a flat little parcel, small, you know, wooden needles, off you go, have fun. I got this huge packet. And actually, I think I still have some. I still have your Desert Vista Dye Works skein. I think it's up here. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, it's somewhere. Oh, it's somewhere. I'm sure it is. I really want to cast it on at some point. Here it is. Here it is. Is this yours? Is this yours, Carmen? You tell me, because I can't remember. Because I lost everything. Well, I didn't lose everything. I had to, you know, jettison a lot of stuff. So, yeah. So she's. I think this was you. I know that this was in my first ever package. Or maybe it wasn't. I can't keep track. So, but anyway, even if this wasn't you, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at this shiny, sparkly goodness. I need to cast this on really soon. I need to cast everything on really soon. Silly thing to say. So, Carmen got in contact with me for one of the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted things. I was saying, oh, I'd love some American indie dyed yarn, because it's really difficult to get over here. It's really difficult to kind of ship over and all that nonsense. And I don't even have it with me. One second. It's a gorgeous day out there. Oh my God. So Carmen said that she would love to send me one of Hugh Loco's yarns. So this is the first time I've got some beautiful Hugh Loco. So this is merino spun in salt water. This is lot B, and it is beautiful. Look at this. Sometimes I think that I'll never be able to dye anything as beautiful as some of these amazing things. But that's not the point. I dye my colours. I'm trying not to copy anyone else. But oh, they're just look at all of these beautiful speckles. Oh, lovely. So I was expecting a small little package, but Carmen is lovely. Cray lovely. She decided to send me, she said that it was really funny because she'd never heard of advent calendars before. And she thought they were really interesting, and she was saying, like, why can't we have them all year round? Why does it have to be just at Christmas? And I was like, well, I didn't say anything at this stage because she hatched this plan all by herself. So she decided to send me an advent calendar in April, when I'm never expecting one. She said you can use it, you can open it whatever day, you can start it now, or you can pick a month where you want to do it. Or I was like, I've already opened like one, so I guess now. So James has taken over as the guardian of the advent calendars, so I won't open any extra. I would never. So he gives one to me every morning. And the first one was a beautiful skein of yarn, which I've left upstairs, but it was a stunning skein of yarn. What I want to talk about, these small little bits that aren't yarn that are with it. So she said that number 2 would be super useful for my yarn for the show, and she's so right. How useful are these? So if you're coming to Woolen, you'll be able to see these, which are courtesy of the wonderful Carmen from LA. Now, Carmen is the girl that I met up with in LA. She picked me up from the airport when I was there for like 14 hours, and she took me out and around, and it was so wonderful. She took me for lunch, and it was a beautiful day, wonderful day. So then oh my God, she gave me this beautiful thing. So this is called a Yarn Owl by Diana Couture. It's perfect to place your ball of yarn like a fabric yarn bowl. The map reminded me of you and all of your travels. And she writes little notes on all of these little black cats. So let me show you this. Okay, so you've got this little thing to have around your hand. Super useful, and it folds closed kind of like that, nice and flat. But the best thing about this is these 2 little bits that come up. So you kind of push it out, and then you put them up, and they're little claspy bitsy things. And it's a little, so the ball doesn't come bouncing out. You just take your yarn out through there. I'm sorry. That's the most genius thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I love it. I love it. And oh, and the yarn that she's using was Japanese. Oh, so there's Japan on it. There's the Pacific Ocean, and then under here, oh, there's Australia. Oh, and the United States. They're not together. I think there's been a bit of an overlap. I'm like, oh, is this when the plates collide? It doesn't have to be, it's just gorgeous. So it's Diana Couture, and I don't know if you can see, but inside there is her little label, Diana Couture. Diana Couture. It's amazing. I love this. So I'm keeping all of the things that I get in this little package, in this little yarn bowl for now. Then on day 4, I suppose it would be, she got this amazing. It's so cute. It's got this little, it's this little fabric covered, lace covered tape measure. So you pull it out, and then when it gets stuck, you just press that button to go back in. Oh, it's so cute. And this prize this morning was this amazing shopping bag. These are gold dust. I love them. They're so convenient. I have about 2 or 3 in each of, well, I have 2 or 3 that I own. One or two have gone missing over time, but I love them. Look how big they get. So I just chuck them in my bag, and they're so easy to, oh, they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. So you know me so well, Carmen. I just wanted to do a little show and tell of how spectacular some people can be. I don't understand. I sent her over some Irish yarn. I sent her 4 skeins of Irish yarn, and I feel like it was not enough. Damn it. So that's what I have been up to. Now today, it's such a beautiful day. I think I'm going to do a little bit of spring cleaning. I'm going to open all the windows up. I'm going to clean that kitchen, and I might get things prepped. I might do a dyeing day tomorrow. This week has been a really, really busy week. I was working a lot. Last night was intense, really bad night at work, or you know, in the evening. So I just spent the morning sitting down and doing nothing really. But I did do, I went to knit night, my own knit night on Saturday, or Wednesday, which was so lovely. And it was so nice to be in the sun in the evening. It started at like 7 o'clock and we had sun for like a whole hour and a half. So nice. And then on Thursday, I did a little secret thing. Someone wanted to interview me, so I did an interview. So when that's up, I will let you know about that. It was so exciting to do. I get really shy and nervous. I don't know. Could you imagine? So yeah, that's what's been happening this week. I managed to get quite a lot out of that really, even though I haven't really finished. Well, I did finish. No, I did not. I'm proud of myself. Okay. So I hope you've had a lovely week, and yeah, I'll see you in the future at some point. Hopefully not too far away. Bye.